say to me when I was a teenager, because he had this terrible fear I would run away with some American long-haired hippie. I don't know why he had this fear. Either a bus driver or a hippie. So he would take me on these long walks and have these long father-daughter, counseling sessions to prepare me for the reality that one day I would have to make a choice and that I should choose well, not run away with a hippie. So his words were, marriage is about creating memories that you will always treasure. And I have been thinking about the memories of my parents these last few days and trying to distill from those memories what is it that makes my two very distinct, very different parents, as Chief Justice Venkatacharya just pointed out. One Aries, full of fire, the typhoon, the other very calm, very gentle, water sign, Cancer, home-loving, peaceful. What makes the two of them come together as a unit that is so distinct, so memorable? And when I think back to all the years and I think of what defines for me my parents, it's the memory, the first memory I have of them from childhood, when I must have been about 5. I'm sure many of the ISS officers' children have the same memories about them. But it is of this beautifully elegant couple. My father in his Bangala, my mother in a beautiful silk sari with her hair up in a bun, preparing to go out for the evening, to go out to a diplomatic do, either a cocktail or a dinner. And then of that same very elegant, very good-looking couple, who had ably represented India in whichever country we were in, coming home and chatting about their evening as they began to unbutton their Bangala and take that. My one memory of my father is of him unbuttoning his Bangala and his cufflinks, and mommy, beginning to unwind her sari, and daddy would sort of make comments about the host or some observation about the guests, or that food wasn't quite proper. And for me, that is what epitomized marriage. This couple that went out together, that were so proud of each other, that looked so elegant on each other's arms, coming home and then sharing this very private, precious set of observations that had come from having been together through that experience of that evening. And for me, that's what I think in my little mind marriage meant. That you went out as a couple, you shared things together, and then you came home and talked about it. The other very strong and dominant memory I have of my parents, which again has lasted through the years, something you all haven't seen much of, is of them loving the outdoors. So this elegant couple on weekends would get into trousers and sweaters and take their children out on picnics. So dad would drive us and say, "Oh, we go up to a forest, or a stream," and mommy would have packed a lunch and we would sit on the rocks and have our sandwich. In fact, I'm not sure they themselves must have forgotten also. And then later when we were in Delhi, going with Auntie Margaret's family to Sona and so on, and sitting on the hill and having our sandwiches. And that love that my parents have for the outdoors still survives, because even now, in their old age, when they come to my mountain home, my father will go clambering around the hills looking for the best spot to see the Himalayas from. And my mother will pick pine cones and thyme and so on from the forest. And when I think of the things that my parents have given me, when I think of the values, things they passed on, again, there are 3 things that dominate what I feel they have given me. The first is a tremendous pride and love for India. Wherever we were, however poor and miserly our country was regarded in the 70s, our parents taught us that we came from a very special place and we had something to be very proud of. And again, one of my fondest memories of my mother is of her sitting by my bed when I was 6 in Peru. It took her about a week, but she taught us the Jana Gana Mana. Every night she would sit by our bed, and to this day I know every word by heart. And the memory of my father teaching me to love my country was of him reading me Nehru's letters from a father to a daughter, and sort of instilling in me, with all apologies to our Deputy High Commissioner there, this great pride that we have thrown the British out. Okay? And so these are the dominant things which I thank them for, because it is that routine, it is that sense of pride and belonging in this country that has given me this sense of peace and a sense of centeredness, this despite all the many different places I've lived in my life.
Yeah.
And I've never had to live like many of my fellow IFS children who have chosen to live in the West. They always look back over their shoulder at India. They live between two worlds, and I don't do that much. The second very dominant theme, when I think about my parents and what they've given me, is really a sense of appreciation for those who have less than us. My father would always say, you are where you are because you have had the opportunity. Not because you're brighter or better or cleverer. There are thousands out there who are as clever as you. They have just not had the opportunity. And my mother would, in her way, teach us to live simply. She would make everything a game. So for instance, if there's a water shortage, she never complained. She would say, okay, let's make this a game. Let's see how well we can bathe in half a bucket of water. So she taught us to adapt to every situation. And again, my father too, he would always take us, we always had street food. We would always, wherever we were, experiment with that culture. And that's the third dominant theme that I think of when I think of my parents. This openness of mind, this openness to new experiences, this openness to new cultures that they gave us. They had never lived abroad. They came from very traditional families, both of them. Yet, we were never taught to fear anything strange. We were always taught to go out, explore it, welcome it with open arms, engage with it, learn from it, and internalize it. And again, that has made me who I am today. And my concluding thought is of my parents today, who are the most energetic, positive, and optimistic 75-year-olds I've ever met. Despite whatever they have been through, they have lost a lot, they have suffered a lot these last 2 years. They have never lost their fighting spirit. They have picked up and just moved on. Took some time for the smile to come back after Seema died. But you've seen my father and all his tales and his hilarious jokes, and now you will hear my mother's jokes. And this is really what I respect about them, that they have not for a moment asked why us, why me. They have accepted it, moved on, made something of it. And by the way, usually when you go to grandparents' houses, it's very boring because they all want to play at 8 o'clock and they want to eat by 8:30 and go to sleep by 9. But in my house, my grandparents are the ones who are the fun ones, who stay up till 1 at night, whereas me and my husband go to sleep by 9:30 or 10. My parents, my father eats at 10, then he watches a movie till 12:30. My mother is pottering around, and I'm asleep by about 10:30. And they are going full of energy and buzzing with life. And to reiterate something that Father Campos said this morning, that the best is the last. So he was talking about wine. He says a good wine matures. And the best part of the wine is when it is mature. So my parents have finished 50 years. And I bless you that your next 25 or your next 50 will be the best part of your life.